Hello and welcome to our podcast. Myself, Kartik, and we have
And
Aafreen.
Sunny?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I am Balaji Natarajan from UK. Yeah.
wonderful. So, the three of us, I think Aafreen and Balaji have been friends for many years now. Balaji has come to join our podcast. We are going to talk about Dhurandhar 2, but before that, we're going to set some context. And probably Aafreen, you want to start, and then, we will go from there.
So Balaji and me worked in an organization together in 2007, and I wouldn't consider him as a friend. But
Yeah.
when Kartik was making a movie in 2000,
20,
20,
20,
Yes.
21, yeah.
yeah, so almost 13 years later, suddenly I felt like Balaji's support towards the movie, towards his decision to make a movie. And I was like, Balaji of all people, I consider most South Indians to be very traditional, not deviating from the path of family and kids and doing a job. So I was very surprised and very pleasantly surprised that Balaji reached out. And on and off, we have been exchanging our views on movies specifically through WhatsApp or Facebook post. Like he writes posts in Tamil or Telugu, so I see the translation, so I don't get everything that he's saying, but I understand his angst with the system and how he doesn't have like an absolute traditional approach towards life. So I really appreciate this friendship, which has sustained over 20 years. And I was also very surprised when Balaji reached out to me and he said, "Do you want to do a podcast about Dhurandhar? What are your views?" Usually we exchange our views and it's between ourselves. And I was like, a podcast. And I really like the movie as a movie, but I see the behind the curtains, what could have transpired, what could have shaped this movie. So I was like, okay, and I am vocal, but I don't know if I bring enough strong points. So I wanted Karthik to be here, to be a moderator, to add to the conversation. So thank you, Balaji, for reaching out to me. Without you, we probably wouldn't have done this because it is a popular movie, it is a big hit. So thank you for doing this, and do let me know why you reached out to me for a podcast after, like, you have seen us doing this for past 2 3 years, but now you reach out to us. So why did you feel the need, like the urge to do this very strongly?
Thank you. Thanks, Aafreen. And yeah, I've been following your podcast for quite some time. I remember, you asked me when you're about to start you and Karthik are going to start doing a podcast about movie reviews and all. I said, I was totally into. I watch. I'm very much interested in. Watching movies right from the my childhood days, but. Last 10 years or so, probably I was more interested in the political side of anything, not only movies. So I said probably I'm not a very good critic in terms of analyzing the artistic perspective of the movies, but I might pitch in to give the maybe political context or the philosophical context of the movie. So, but I really want to be part of your podcast, but obviously you obviously do it most of the time do Hindi movies. And I usually don't watch Hindi movies unless it's very exciting or something very something I feel like watching or not. So probably, yeah, that I was thinking to be part of your podcast for some time, but this movie I thought like we could do because it's this movie, I think more than a movie, it's like it has a lot of political context to this movie. So I thought probably my perspective would be good in this particular movie. That's why I asked that.
Wonderful. Thanks. First of all, thank you both, Balaji and Afreen. Before I start talking about the movie, I mean, it's not the right platform here probably, but when I started my journey as a filmmaker and when I decided to make my own feature film, um, there are a few people who I reached out to help me out, with whom I had a sustaining friendship for 17 years, almost, or more than that, in fact. Some of them said yes, many of them helped me out. But Balaji's help to me is something which was completely out of the blue. And he did it purely with love, with the, to support a passion. He did it out of supporting a passion. He didn't have any motive. Ki, you make this much money, you share the profit with me, nothing. Right? It was like, I'm giving my part, I'm contributing towards someone's passion. And I am eternally grateful to you for that. I was able to watch my dream come true because of you and because of a few more people like you, right? Obviously, Aafreen is the biggest contributor in that, but apart from Aafreen, apart from my family, my brother, parents, and all, the people like you who came out, especially you, right? Eternally grateful. And I have it in my mind that I have to either pay it forward or pay it back, and I will, over a period of time. I'm sure I will be able to do that. But for now, all I can say is I'm extremely grateful to you, and I wanted to start from there, right? Number one. Number two, with regards to our discussion, a few disclaimers before we get into our discussion. Number one is that we are expressing our own opinions, right? And we have nothing against a particular person, particular individual, but we watched a movie and we saw it for what it is, and we are going to discuss that, right? And that is what our discussion is going to be about. The movie that we're going to talk specifically about is Dhurandhar 2, and but we will be trying to talk about the entire uh, both the movies because they're actually one movie, right? They've been released separately, but they're actually one movie. So that's where our discussion is going to be. I'm also going to give my opinion, but I'm also trying to act as a moderator here, to make sure that we have a balanced opinion. To be very honest, I would have liked to have someone who is pro Dhurandhar to so that we have more balance, but we are where we are. I would say I'm somewhere in between, and so is Aafreen. We are in between, but yeah, we're going to now talk about it, and you will know what we stand for with regards to the movie. So let's start with the movie itself, right? Let's start with um, the story side of it. And for now, let's assume that this is a totally fictional movie, and that is where the debate is going to come or discussion is going to be about. But if we start with the fact that this is a totally fictional movie, there's some movie that we saw about a Indian spy living in Pakistan and trying to help the government, to take a few decisions and combat terrorism. If we talk from that point of view, in terms of filmmaking point of view, I'll start with myself and then we can go around. Personally, I think it was a very entertaining movie. It was made well, especially part one. I thought part one had a lot of moments which were raw, but at the same time, so this movie combined rawness like Ram Gopal Verma does. It's more raw, more real. The violence is real. You can feel the blood when you see blood. You can feel people's anger, people's anguish when you're seeing it on the screen. So that realism is there, but it's combined with style. There's so much style in it in terms of execution. The background score stands out in both the movies. The way he's used Hindi songs, old Hindi songs, and even a couple of English songs and Arabic songs, right? And mix them and put them together. The performances stand out, a lot of performances, right? So, from that standpoint, I would say it's an entertaining movie. I enjoyed watching the movie. The second part, not as much as number one because I felt the second part was more of act three of part one. So usually a movie has a act one, act two, act three. Act one, you're trying to set it up, right? And act two, you see things in motion. And act three is when things get resolved. So here, part one was act one and act two. Part three was act three. So the whole movie, you see only the resolution. You don't see the building because that's already done in part one. So from just looking at Dhurandhar 2 as a separate movie, I found it was not as thrilling and exciting as a spy movie should be. We were watching Tehran recently, and the way the web series is made, every episode there is that excitement. You don't know what's going to happen. Here it looked very simple. Everything was like convenient, right? So purely from that perspective, I felt Durandar 2 lagged in comparison to 1. But overall, there were some moments which were very entertaining. The first few scenes in Durandar 2, Ranveer Singh taking revenge for his family, they felt real, and I could see his expressions, the way he was holding the pain and the way he uses that pain to take revenge. It was done very well. It was done very stylishly as well. So that was a good scene. But after that, I thought the movie became a little predictable and very easy. Now, this is purely movie discussion that I'm doing. We'll talk about the politics later. So this is my opinion. Now moving to Balaji and Aafreen, your movie opinion.
For me, the win for this movie is the music and the actors. So many films have been made, Kashmir Files, Kerala Files. We don't even want to see it. We don't feel, our mindset is like, it doesn't even matter whether we see it or not because we won't miss anything. But why do we see this movie, although we know it's a propaganda movie, right? It's because there is a certain actor, there is a certain style, and we feel like probably, yeah, we should watch it, feel like watching it. And although we see the smoke screen and what's behind it, it's still very entertaining. We had a great time. And it's such a long movie and it still had a great time. And every time the 90s music came on, like, oh my God, yeah, that song. Like, we have forgotten certain hits. But yeah, absolutely, like, number one entertainer in terms of the purpose of the movie. If it's entertainment, then it was pure entertainment. In
Hmm.
fact, the recently Kartik has been playing some good songs from the 90s, like Lamhe, and I don't know, a lot of songs that we like during playing TT. And I don't even want to say the score, I just want to sing along. Because in those days, we not only sang the song, we sang the music also, which was in between the songs, like. So it is that much fun. Like 90s music is that much fun. So this movie is fun and entertainment for sure. Like that's my take on it. But it's engaging because I never forget the reality. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Balaji, let's start with the movie and then we'll go into the politics of it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for me, I think everyone will have their own way of approaching a movie, right? I mean, like, yeah, obviously, everyone, like, people watch movies for entertainment. That's not wrong at all. And people watch
Mhm.
movies for artistic purpose of that's not bad. But my right from my childhood, like, um, I obviously I watch movies for entertainment. But behind that, like, my excitement is like, I will always try to find what is the intention of the director, or what they are trying to convey through the movie, or probably what is the truth that they are trying to put forth. So cracking that is very exciting for me, like in any type of movie, even if it is an Hollywood movie, a Kollywood movie, or a Hindi movie, or whatever it is. So I always look for it, uh, besides the context or everything. So um, uh, looking just about the movie from this Durandar, I think it from a film language, it did very well, because I don't get connect to all the Hindi songs as you do, because I don't know most of the old Hindi songs, but I obviously know a few popular Hindi songs. But even then, I could it held my interest throughout the movie. So, and it's a very long movie, like almost 4 hours movie, but I had that interest to watch the movie, and especially the staging of the action scenes and all was very good, and
Mhm.
few scenes, especially like when Ranveer Singh was walking in a long stretch and he sits in a chair, and
Yeah.
so those scenes and all was conceived very well. And not only that scene, like few scenes, like obviously as you said, the initial scenes were initial action scene where he goes into a place and kill multiple people and all. So those scenes, staging and all was very good. Like, I mean, even the cinematography and all is very good.
Yeah.
obviously. So it holds your interest. And screenplay, as you said, obviously it didn't. It was not very. I mean, like first part had that excitement, like what is the it did set the staging, as you said, and second
Right.
part, obviously, we know what is going to happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and but a few twists also work for me, like especially the climax twist and all is it's something
Yeah.
it's very good. So because I didn't expect that coming, so.
Yeah. 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 Rakesh
Yeah,
Bedi
that
thing,
was
right?
quite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that those and all is very good for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Now let's move into the most important topic that we're going to discuss because this opinion you would have heard from everyone, right? Most of you. So the opinion that we're going to share or discuss is, as Balaji rightly pointed out, what is the intention when someone sets out to make a movie? Sometimes some filmmakers do it smartly, right? Sometimes some filmmakers are very open about what they're wanting to say. In this, my personal view is that in this film, at least in the first part, he was a little subtle. Second part, he opened up, boss. This is why I've made the movie, right? And that is where it became the biggest problem for me as an audience is when you say it's a fictional movie, and Afreen was going to talk about it. I'm sorry I cut you, but I wanted to come to that next. The biggest problem with you saying that it's a fictional movie and then having real people actually play themselves, real situations being presented, and then saying it's fictional and having an excuse for showing all fictional things. So you put forward five things which are true, but you mix 10 false things with it. So when an audience watches it, he thinks everything is true. Not everyone is going to go back home and is going to do some research on it, right? You think, oh, this is the truth. He's telling the truth. This is what is actually happening. And you're using that in, so you're cheating, you're manipulating the audience. It's okay to manipulate when it's a fictional story, right? But when you're mixing truth and false, it is actually, in my opinion, it is very wrong ethically and even legally. I don't know legally how can, I mean, there should have been some way of curtailing it. You can't show the actual Prime Minister of India giving an actual speech and then say that there are so many things which are fictional in between. मेरे हिसाब से, in my opinion, it's also illegal. I don't know. I won't go into the legal. Ethical, to for sure it is not. So we start from there, and now I've set the ball rolling. So now Balaji, you want to start from here, and then after you want to join.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, you exactly said what I was about to say. Like it blurs the line between fact and the fiction, right? So that's very dangerous. Actually, I couldn't remember any Indian movie doing showing the actual footage of the incidents or showing the real character names, and even they were designed actually looking similar to a real person, right? So
Yeah,
I I don't remember any movies. I probably, when you talk, I could remember like I don't know, Inglorious, but that even that also it just showed the Hitler, right? It didn't show the
see
actual
something
Hitler.
like Inglorious Bastard. Now you at least understand the intention is not wrong.
Yeah,
You want
yeah, yeah.
to
It's a
take that
complete
revenge.
alternative story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Here
and
the intention is dubious and it's so evident, right?
yeah, yeah, it's very blatant in second part, right? First part it's probably it's hidden, or but second part it's very blatantly visible because they are obviously showing showing the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the screen. So as I said, like the political or philosophical or maybe the political truth they are trying to put forward in the movie is very dangerous for me because um, one obvious truth they are trying to I think for me like the director trying to convey is like the government before 2014 is unfavorable to the Pakistan terrorists, and the government after 2014 is completely against the Pakistan terrorists, because that's actually shown in the movies. It's not shown
Exactly.
because yeah,
And
they say
repeated
that
100 times. Yeah, repeated
yeah,
100
it's,
times through
it's
Madhavan. right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so everything what the government does after 2014 is against this Pakistan terrorism. So this is almost like I actually in at some point of the film I felt like it's not even a propaganda. It's more than a propaganda. It was like a the government ad film
Yeah,
like which
exactly.
in Tamil Nadu they play a 2 minute ad film before the movie starts. Like I felt like that, like because when they showed Narendra Modi in the screen and they say like even Dawood Ibrahim says like this chai wala was creating trouble
Yeah.
for us. So those are all those scenes and all. It says clearly that okay, it's something um, blatantly they are saying that the government is. Against Islamophobia because that's probably we will talk about it later. But this first truth with which the director is trying to convey is like the government after 2014 has eradicated terrorism and they are completely against terrorism and. The government before 2014 is in favor of terrorism, which is really bad. Like I felt it, it's
It is
very.
the most important thing is it is not true.
Yes,
If it was
obviously,
true
yeah,
and you're
everyone knows
promoting
it's
it,
not true,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you cannot say a government before you it's like seriously, it's a serious allegation, right? Like if someone like, for example, if after a few years some other government is coming into power and they say like in 2019 BJP was in favor of terrorism, it's like even if
yeah,
it is a movie, will they allow to screen? So.
absolutely.
Yeah, that was very dangerous for me. Like I felt like it's very bad. And um, another thing is I don't know, like people uh, this film, as you know, like it's a blockbuster hit, right? And it's a
Yeah,
box office hit. Like people celebrate it like anything. Even in my community, the people around me as watching this movie like three times, four times in theater, and they say like it's they are celebrating it like a festival.
right.
Um, that worried me a lot. So that's why I felt like I have to talk about it. I have to. Give my perspective about this movie in somewhere. So that probably this answers Afrin's initial question, like why I was pretty clear, very keen to express my perspective about this movie because this movie is celebrated by most of the people, like and the reason again is like as you said, it blurs the line between fact and the fiction, right? And uh, so obviously, because they as they show the real incidents throughout the film, even subconsciously the brain doesn't recognize, right, like which is fact or which is fiction. Like when you watch the 4 hours movie, when you come out of the movie, obviously you think like what you have watched is completely. I mean, like whatever incidents which is shown in the movie is completely true facts and except obviously they have shot the movie, but for example, like the demonetization things and all, like what they are projecting is everyone knows that that's not the truth, right? But because we know
Right.
like, we suffered a lot with demonetization, but they showed in a completely it's a
Like a
probably
superhero. Yeah. What a
yeah.
wonderful decision. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I felt like we are in theater they had for that scene they have a whole theater erupted for that scene, and I I was really shocked to see that scene, like how could he probably create a narrative for that demonetization like that. And mm, probably
Absolutely.
demonetization we will talk about it later. Let's hear from
Yeah.
Afri.
Afreen is a Muslim who's married to a Hindu guy. We celebrate all festivals. So many people, as a retort to you being anti BJP or anti Modi, is that you're a Muslim, you don't love
It's
India,
obvious,
you're a
yeah.
Pakistani, XYZ. See, one, we live in the USA. We have been born and brought up in India. Who are you to decide how much we love India? whether we love India or not. Who are you to question our patriotism, right? But still, to answer it in plain language,
Actually, there is a very good concept about it, that there is a king and there is a kingdom. So your love for your country is obvious, like that's unquestionable, like, But if you're questioning a mad king, if you're questioning a bad king, that doesn't mean that you're any less patriotic about your country. In fact, why would it even bother you? Let that country go to hell. If you were not in love with your country, that country can go to hell. And I wouldn't care, right? So just to question that, or to call me Pakistani, which a lot of people do on Instagram. They're like, "You're Pakistani." I'm like, what the that that is just such a easy way to get out of a argument, right? So yeah, if we were not in love with our country, like, why would we even bother to say anything? Like, an average American wouldn't care, right? Like, an average American would be like, okay, he's bad, country's bad, we don't care. But we do care. We do care of our country. We care about the people of our country, the culture of our country. And that is why we decide to speak about these things.
yeah.
So, love
But
for the
Yeah,
country and love for the mad king is very different.
yes,
So
that's
come,
the, I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of, that's just a simple thing. That's one of the brilliant narrative what BJP did in this last 10 years. Like, they have made anti-NDA as an anti-Indian people. They have tied patriotism with this Hindutva and BJP. So, if we are against NDA or if we are against BJP means like it somehow means like people consider that like we are anti-Indians
Patriotic.
and we don't have any patriotism. So that's that's a narrative set by them, and it was very successful narrative.
so the kind of politics that BJP is playing is very much like what British tried to do, right? Divide and conquer, right? You and you are giving majority that happiness that okay, we are with you, we are of the same religion, we follow the same festivals and same culture that you have. Let's come together and let's guard it as if someone external is trying to attack it. And Pakistan is just used as an excuse, but it is a way to get the Hindus of India united against Muslims, right? They are using Pakistan for doing that. And when filmmakers who can use art to unite people, to bring people together, use this device to promote a particular political party, use the lies spread by that political party and push it as a narrative in front of people, it becomes even more dangerous because there are people who blindly follow cinema and who blindly believe that whatever is shown is the reality. And think of the younger generation today. They are going to grow with that mindset. They are going to define India, and India is not going to try to improve itself and become a better nation, help to, get rid of the poverty and make better roads, have a better infrastructure. India is going to be more divisive, say, let's get rid of these people, let's, celebrate mediocrity, let's celebrate jingoism. That's what India is going to do then, because you're going to spread that. So,
Already there na, Kartik. When everything, so the hypocrisy of people who had an opinion about the dollar falling, like, now it's 90. When it was 60, the finance minister, Nirmala something, she was
Yeah.
saying that, oh my God, it's a big concern. The prices of everything else will rise. And a stupid anbhakt will come and say, are you paying for your sabzi, for your vegetables in dollar? No, that's not the real issue. You're not paying in dollars. The issue is that everything else rises, like, the prices of everything else rises. That is the real issue. It's just like mind-boggling to think that people are reacting in such a way that it's already acceptable. Everything that is happening is already acceptable, and the hypocrisy of everybody. It is so in your face hypocritical. It's right there. It's sad. Like, I don't even know how. It's like banging your head against a wall. Only you will get hurt. It's a wall. Like, it's a wall of stupidity.
okay. Now let's come back into the main discussion, which is the movie, and let's I think start talking about every single, if it's possible, to talk about the things that the movie tries to establish versus the reality. I don't know how much research Balaji you've done or Afrin you've done. So we can talk about something. So let's start with demonetization. The truth shown in the movie versus the real truth, right? So Balaji, you want to touch that? So in the movie, I think they show that this was an act to avoid almost 60,000 crore rupees from coming from Nepal to India to fund the elections of UP. And this was a master stroke to avoid that foreign duplicate currency, fake currency coming in. And, that's the reason they did it. Now, do you want to talk about the facts around it and how they tried to use manipulation to justify this
Yeah,
demonetization?
yeah. Demonetization. I thought of talking one point about this Islamophobia, like because
Yeah, yeah,
we talked.
please. Yeah, let's
Just
start from there. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that because the biggest danger about this movie I felt is like as we all discussed, like it's clearly trying to make a distinction between like Hindus and Muslims, and it's trying to show a picture like Indians are Hindus and Pakistans are Islams, right? Like it
Mm,
that is being shown throughout the movie. Right from the first scene when the actual Kandahar incident is happening, the terrorist would ask Madhavan, right? Like, why are Hindus are so covered? I mean, like, how can he say like Hindus are so covered? Because all the people in the flight are Indians, right? So, but he's terming them as Hindus, and and probably another scene I would say like the Mumbai incident scene, like Mumbai incident, the terrorist people, terrorist organization people would watch that incident
mm,
happening, and they would celebrate by reciting Allahu Akbar, which is very very. I mean, like I was very. I mean, when I watched the scene, I was like um, kind of depressed because how can I show that verse, Quran verse, like for that scene, like when it almost create a vision thing like Islam. I mean, like Islam people are celebrating the death of Indian by citing this Allahu Akbar, right? Like, which is very
yeah.
dangerous. And in the second part, another scene I want to say is like. They would show, I think, yeah, in that in that masjid, they would train young people, and he would select one guy, and he would say like Allah has selected you for this mission, and you are very lucky that Allah has chosen you. It is very 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 clearly they are trying to connect the religion, right, Islam, into into something very bad and terrorism, right? So which is that's what I was trying to talk about it. And when it comes to demonetization, obviously, yeah, like I mean, whole of the India, like we know clearly like what happened during demonetization, and we know like thousands of people was suffering for almost like 2 3 months for during that time, right? Like we know like even hundreds of people died staying standing outside of ATM machines and all, like so
Right.
and even recently, like even all the economists accepted like almost 99.5% of the black money came into account. So that that whole exercise, demonetization exercise itself made no sense at all, right? So every almost every economist, every intellectuals agreed it, and all common people agreed it. Everyone in India know that demonetization is a failure. But after 10 years, he's trying to, this movie is trying to make a point that demonetization was made for some
Shopping
just to,
tourism.
yeah, just to stop some 60,000 crore fake money or black money. I mean, I was thinking like even even if if that's the case, like even if PM Narendra Modi knows that this much of amount is going to come to India, like 60,000 crore is like it has to come in like 5 or 6 container trucks, right, or in a goods train. So why can't he stop that in the border? Is our Indian security system that weak? Like just to stop that 60,000 crore fake money, would he make all the Indian currency as invalid? It's like many people in our circle, I mean, like leftist circle, they would say that if that is the case, then yeah, just to kill a cockroach in the house, he burnt the whole house. That,
Exactly.
yeah, that's what he did. So I mean, like he is trying to create a false narrative for a failure, actual failure, which happened 8 7 8 years back, right?
Yeah.
And so see, even we know that that's not true, and no one like from the BJP government said that that's not true, right? So which means like, are they accepting that they actually did it to stop this 60,000 crores of money, which is really nonsensical
And
to.
more than that much amount has already been circulated as fake currency after they went through this new cycle. It's, I mean, the point is that, okay, 16 में नहीं, आगे भी elections होंगे, right? So the new currency that you put, will you keep reprinting currency every election, right? What about 20? What about the
Mm.
election that happens in 21? By that
Yeah,
time, for 5 years, that currency is in the market. So there are going to be people who are going to create same way they're going to create fake currency. They're
yeah,
going to and there is a lot of fake currency apparently. Even after that, there is consistent flow, 20,000 crores apparently of fake currency. So you have not eradicated that problem through this mechanism. What this mechanism did was inconvenience so many people. The middle class and the lower middle class are the ones who suffered the most through this entire process, right? The people who had black money were managed to bring that money back into legal ways and get it back into their accounts, right? They used lakhs of people to siphon their money into their own accounts and then send it in an official way. So it was a machine, it was an exercise to convert black into white. A lot of the black money got converted into white. Now they became legal currencies for these people, right? So so
Also, there was one guy caught within India who was printing money, and he was the godman of a particular sect, and he was printing money. And his justification for that was, I was printing money to do some good, not spread terrorism. I
anyway,
wish I could do that and justify that and get away with that.
right. So now that is one thing, right? Coming back to Islamophobia that you spoke about, I also wanted to say that um, when I was growing up in the 80s and even early 90s or 90s, um, Hindi movies especially, and I'm sure South probably still has it, would have a hero who would be a Muslim, or at least a supporting hero would be a Muslim. And they would try to balance the narrative, even if it was showing Pakistan as a terrorist nation, right? But they would balance it by showing a few Hindus and a Muslims working together to fight this. Here, they didn't even make an attempt to do it. All the positive people are Hindus, all the negative people are Muslims. And the ones who are actually Muslims are converted because they became a spy.
yeah,
Like even Rakesh Bedi's character, he's a Muslim guy, but he was probably originally a Hindu who got converted to become a spy. So his daughter is actually a Hindu, right? If you go by that way. So even the people who are positive in the movie, they were originally Hindus who came to Pakistan to help India. So that narrative that you're trying to set, it may be subtle in some places, and some places it's blatant. But what you're trying to do is, I and in reality, like um, people by nature, right? They want. I mean, in US, when you meet even a Pakistani person, you become friends with them. You don't think of religion and nationality at that point of time. It is the movies play on that emotion because you don't know those people, so you become even more anti against them. I think if your movies don't try to unite you, you will never be able to collectively work towards achieving a goal, you know? And I feel as filmmaker myself, there is a responsibility on our head to say the right thing, you know? There is this dialogue which I don't want to say, it's not the right way to say it, but I'll try to polish it and say it. They say that you can make money by selling your body, but you can never get respect, right? So in this film, it feels like he sold his soul, right? He may gain a lot of money through this venture, but over the years, this movie will not be respected because over the years, see, it's a cycle of karma. Things will keep changing. In 10 years down the line, you never know who's going to be in power, who is going to be the one calling shots. That time, people will start talking about the reality that was shown in the movie and say how he tried to manipulate the people. And that's when your film will not stand the
Of time.
test of time, right? Because people will realize how manipulative it was. Now, let's talk about some of the things that were shown as if they happened during BJP time, as if they happened after Modi came into power versus when they actually happened because they've used some of the real life incidents like uh, Ilyas Kashmiri, right? He's the guy who was played by Arjun Rampal, Major Sa. His character apparently died in 2011. This is when Congress was in power. The police inspector, played by Sanjay Dutt, he died in 2014 Jan. This is once again when Congress was in power, right? There are there is this allegation, I don't know how true or false it is, that um, Morarji Desai in 78 or something, when they came into power from Janta Dal, he leaked information about 300 raw agents because he felt that, Indira Gandhi was using them for her own self. And 300
He
raw
was
agents,
bragging, Kartik. He was bragging that we have these many agents in your country. He was bragging as a retort to the raw
okay.
chief.
Oh, and that must have caused a lot of problems. There are many stories of how Indira Gandhi used raw to infiltrate Pakistan, especially during the India-Pakistan war in Bangladesh, right? For Bangladesh, for dividing Bangladesh. There's so many wonderful things that have happened in the past, but now they're trying to show that everything that has happened with
Is
creating
BJP's.
raw, with infiltrating Pakistan is all done by BJP. The movie doesn't stand true to that itself.
The timeline
The
is so manipulated. Like the timeline, like it's it's as if Nehru has done something years back, which was for the good of the country, and they are behaving as if he's present now and spoiling things. Like you are spoiling things. He only did good. Like he established our space research. He established BARC. Like all the good things. What has BJP done? What has BJP done in terms of establishing? Now they are spending millions and billions buying some things from US, which is not needed at all. We have our own research organizations, right? So you are selling our country instead of building something within our country and retaining talent and retaining intelligence. People actually believe this movie to be absolute truth. And these are not people who are like not educated. They are our friends we know for past 10, 20 years. They believe that demonetization was done for that reason and it is the correct reason. Like how do they even think? Like these are educated people. I don't know how they have been so brainwashed. The timeline and the character itself has been manipulated, right? Even the parents of the character for Ranveer Singh, they are not happy. They're like, no, this is not true. Like, whatever is shown is not absolute truth. And they should have checked with us. But timeline manipulation and character manipulation is like Aditya Dhar's like free license. He can do whatever he wants and make it project to be something which it's not.
any other points, Balaji, you wanted to specifically point out with regards to the movie and how the narrative was shaped to brainwash some of the things that was being done? Anything else that you wanted to specifically point out?
I think one specifically one point which I want to highlight is like this movie, the as we discussed in the initially, this movie actually technically this movie is well made. So
Mm.
that so making a movie technically sound, that doesn't mean like the content it delivers, like the truth it's trying to put forward is right, correct, right? So uh, people are celebrating the movie. When I discussed with my friends in my circle, they say like, I just watch it as a movie. I don't mind about the politics. I don't even know about this BJP politics and all. I just enjoy the movie as because it's a very well made action film, so I like it. um, but I feel that's where the danger is, like just because the movie is well made, it doesn't mean like the content it's trying to deliver is correct, right? So I thought like probably we should be very conscious in in watching the movies. That is why I always look try to find the truth, the director's intention of the truth he tries to convey, right? It's not what we perceive, but what he tries to convey. That is very important, I believe so, because it's not just an entertainment, just 3 hours or 4 hours movie, because it'll we like it or not, like movie or any movie or any music or whatever art form, books or everything, it will stay in our mind subconsciously, right? And it would probably reflect in our actions, it would probably reflect in the way we respond to our friends. It could probably even because even in our friend circle, if we have Islam people, we could our response to them could probably subconsciously affected by this movie as well. So if we are not conscious enough, then probably this movie will impact us very badly, I think so. That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
convey.
So there was this someone who had said this, that Kashmir Files and Kerala Story were badly made movies.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
even
yeah,
though they were patriotic or propaganda or jingoistic movies, the impact of those movies was not as severe
yeah,
as Dhurandhar, which is a well-made entertainer
yeah,
seeping into so many households. If you add the OTT version views with the theatrical version views, more than 10 crore people would have watched this movie, right? And you add illegal ways of watching, probably 12 to 15 crore people. So you're influencing 15 crore people, and you're trying to say something which is going to stay with them for some time at least, right?
yeah.
And what happens is, I don't believe that a movie completely changes a person, but drops and drops of the same narrative will form you. You
Yes,
know,
yes, yeah,
I
yeah,
have grown through movies of 80s. When I mean, I think I don't want to brag about it because I remember bragging about it to Aafreen, mother, but I think the good side in me, like even when I was doing well in my life, I respect everyone, whichever profession they may be in. They may be auto driver, they may be um, uh, hotel waiter. I always talk to them very respectfully, and I attribute that more than my upbringing by my parents to the movies that I was watching. When I was watching the movies in 80s, a lot of movies were made from the point of view of poor people, and in that they would show how a rich person behaves with them and how it affected them. So watching those movies inculcated, and not one movie, right? Hundreds of movies with similar themes. So that inculcated good behavior in me. I thought that when I become well-to-do, I should respect the people who are doing their job, dignity of labor, and I should treat them with respect, treat them as an equal. So this is through education that I got through movie, not through one, hundreds of movies. But think of the children of today when they watch so many movies having Islamophobia, showing the Hindus as the right people, Muslims as the wrong people, the doers of the wrong, this is going to stay with them. So when they grow up, they're going to come up with that thought that this is the reality. They are bad people. They're going to treat people based on the religion, right? So it is a moral responsibility, even if you're making that one movie, because it's eventually going to brainwash people for an entire generation, right? So I feel that, I look at good makers and I see that they're respected even today. Someone like a Rishikesh Mukherjee, someone like a Yash Chopra, whether his movies made thousands of crores or rupees or not, Mani Ratnam, right? Their movies will be respected till eternity. Everyone will respect them because they stood for the right thing. It won't change seasonally. कि आज बीजेपी है तो you like the movie more. Tomorrow Congress, you hate the movie. It won't change like that. It will remain constant. Using a historic character and showing that I'm telling a lie about the story, like Hitler ke साथ किया, just to give you that happiness that in real life we couldn't kill him, but in the movie we end up shooting him in a theater. That gives us joy. It's purely for entertainment purpose. He did that in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Yes.
where the real murderers, Charlie Manson and his group, right? They actually killed the actress. But in this film, the hero, Brad Pitt, kills those people. So you get that happiness. What if, this has happened? So you're twisting history to give happiness. In this case, it is not that. In this case, you're twisting lies in a way that you're trying to create a narrative out of it.
Actions always speak louder than words. When you talk about respecting everybody, irrespective of their social standing in the society, let's say I look at you and you are saying this, right? I'm like, oh my God, like Kartik, what a guy. Like, he treats everybody with respect. But when we go to a restaurant, you treat somebody badly. So your words and action do not match, right? So right now what is happening is the PM of the country is saying, I was raised within Muslims. I celebrated Eid and they would come to my home. I would go to their home. We would look for Sevaya. And I treat everybody equally. And I cannot but treat everybody equally as the PM of this country. So you're saying that. But what are the actions that are happening? Lynchings are happening. Rapists are getting released because of PM letting them get released. Murderers are getting released. They are getting released, and then the common man is, or their relatives or their society is welcoming them with garlands and tikas and saying that it's their victory. I mean, how are these antisocial elements, rapists, murderers, how are they celebrated? Why is an innocent person being asked to chant a certain god's name, and then after that they are killed? Like, I cannot even slap a person, like, like that's also violence, right? Slapping. These people are taking rods and swords and killing innocent people in God's name. How is that acceptable? The words and actions are not matching. Nothing is like matching in the current scenario. It's very saddening and disheartening and like inhuman. Like, I can't, like, I feel like crying now, but yeah, it's very inhuman to see that. So I am actually going to close with saying that I think I covered everything that I wanted to say, and the things I've been saying to people around me is it kind of summarized, and it got like me a good closure, and I'm very glad that we did this podcast. So thanks, Balaji, again. Over to you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So thanks actually for inviting me to your podcast. Obviously, yeah, I'm glad that we talked about this topic as we said, and it's been running in my brain for last 2 weeks. I was um, thinking to express this somewhere. So yeah, glad that I've expressed in your platform. So yeah, thanks for giving this opportunity.
Anything that is remaining that you want to get out of your system?
I think I've told everything what I
Yeah.
was thinking to say. Yeah. So yeah, only thing is like as I said earlier, we should be very conscious enough in watching these. type of movies. Like, yeah, we should not simply take it to our head just because it's artistic perspective. Perspectives are very good. So yeah, we should be mindful about the content it's trying to deliver. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Just one
Yeah.
last thing I want to say about actions and words. So recently, like people have been during a Rath Yatra, what they do is, well, while going through like a mosque, in front of a mosque, they will point towards the mosque and they will aim as if they are shooting the mosque or throwing an arrow to the mosque. And this is obviously done by adults. And then when children are going in front of that, they kind of emulate the elders and they are doing the same thing. So, what kind of children are we raising, to do that action? Their mindset has already changed when they emulate that action of an elder. It has already changed, and it is a very sad state of affairs. Yeah, that's also one thing that was bothering me.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to mention here with regards to some of the things that um, has been happening in our country, right? The immediate retort to what Afreen has said by some people is going to be that what about these things that Muslims do, right? What about, but at least we label it as terrorism. Whatever actions a Muslim does in the name of religion, killing people, we label it as terrorism. But whatever actions that the Hindus are doing against Muslims in the name of religion, that is not labeled as terrorism. That is labeled as, yeah, you're doing your part as a Hindu or whatever, right? You're singing praises for that. There may be Muslims who might have been singing praises for that, but then they are doing a wrong thing, an illegal thing, right? And the same stands for Hindus. And you don't, two wrongs don't make a right, they say it, right? So just because someone is using religion to kill innocent people, you don't justify it by saying that even our religion should do it. They should reply it. This is the right way to reply. I want to bring forward through this podcast. I don't know if Balaji have seen this movie. There is a movie called Ikkis. It released the January 1st, I think. It's made by Sriram Raghavan, and it's a beautiful movie, in my opinion. It may not be as entertaining as Dhurandhar is, but the subject is good. What it's trying to say, it is about 1971 war. It is about India Pakistan, but
Okay.
the messaging of the movie, the way the message is delivered, that is the kind of responsibility we need as a filmmaker.
Raghavan is Andhadhun director, right?
Andhadhun and
Okay.
Badlapur. See, even in
He- Yeah.
Badlapur, he made a movie about revenge, but
Mm.
it talks about the negative aspect of revenge. The movie,
Yeah.
whole movie, he shows revenge as the
Mm.
main driving factor. But in the end, he tells you that how futile revenge is, how
Yeah.
it spoils you as a person. So he's a very responsible filmmaker,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and it is very evident through Kiss. So I loved it.
Mm.
It didn't make money, but at least it's a good movie. And I personally feel that I would like to rather make movies like this, Ikkis, than make movies which are going to make money. Fortunately, I found the middle path for myself. I've decided to make movies for myself rather than making it to make money. So I have a day job today. I make money through my day job, and I will use some portion of that money to finance my own movies, which will be made at a very low scale. But I'll tell the story that I wanted to say. So I just made a movie last year,
Mm.
and it I've sent it to Cannes. I'm waiting for the response from Cannes. So that is the kind of movies that I want to make, which through which I see stories which are a little more responsible, which hopefully will say the right thing to the people. And yeah, so that's my intention. Yeah, so I think we had a very long but wonderful podcast. I'm glad that we all shared our opinions. And in the USA, however um, one is placed, they don't get scared to express their opinions. In India, it's a little scary for a lot of people. There are
Yeah.
many repercussions to it. In USA, even if you want to say against the president of USA, there are many artists who say it openly without even being scared. right? And in India, you can say it, but you know how things work, right? They will try to look for a loophole in you. Okay, they will see, okay, your taxation, this, that, and they'll try to attack you. Not unknown people like us, probably, but at least the known people. So it's a little
And their
scary when,
families. And their families.
yeah. So, and unfortunately, people decide to take that middle path and not say anything. But take it through this podcast, we have expressed our opinions, and we will continue. Hopefully, Balaji would like to connect
Yeah,
few
yeah,
more
sure,
times
sure.
with you to talk about some movies that, and we would love some recommendations from you, like even South Indian, because we do watch a lot of South Indian content, and you can use this platform to say maybe which is the latest South Indian movie that you thought we should watch, and which moved you a lot. Like, do you have any movie names that you want to share with us
I couldn't
and the
remember
audience?
anything specifically, but I don't know. Oh, maybe as you said, I could remember one point. I don't know. I just quickly say that because
Yeah, yeah.
uh, I was thinking to talk about this violence and how it is being depicted in this film, and this has been uh, even certified by the CBFG, right? Because
Right.
like in January, a movie called Parasakti, it's a Tamil movie. It came, and it's also a kind of a propaganda. It's about the incident happened in 1965. It's
Acha.
about the students' protest against Hindi imposition. Uh,
Okay.
so in that movie, actually, a politician, Aringer Anna, like he said, like T Paravatam. T Paravatam means let the fire in the student spread across across the state. So he just said T Paravatam. The CBFC, the censor board, has muted that dialogue, stating that
Hmm.
this could impact the harmony. But I was thinking they have just muted that one word, but they have allowed uh, a violence showing a very. I couldn't even explain the violence. They are breaking that skull and the blood is coming out and allowing that violence and how biased this CPFC is working. So that's pretty bad, right? So how they are
Absolutely.
every organization, every independent, so-called independent organizations, the ED, the CBFC, everything is being influenced by BJP, right? Yeah, that's what I want to say.
To that point, actually, somebody put an Insta reel about all the censorship judges and how all of them are affiliated with BJP.
But I believe very strongly, in karma and in things they will keep changing, cycle
Mm.
of time, it keeps going on and on and on. So now something which is down will come up, which is up will come down. So people should be careful in what they do, because you don't know when you will run out of this good time. And at that time, it is how you stood in front of your own moral conscience is where it will take you, right? Hopefully. We believe that. I believe that at least.
We just
So,
have to stand with humanity. Anything which is inhuman, we should not stand with it. Like for me, the logic is very simple. I don't know why it's not as simple to the other people who are not standing with being human.
mm, true. So thank you guys. Thank you both of you for this. And we will be releasing this podcast very soon. And we'll be doing a few more. So please
Sure,
subscribe to
sure.
our
Yeah,
channel. And yeah,
yeah.
please keep visiting us.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.